So in the last class we have discussed about the progressive tax, proportional tax, digressive tax and regressive tax, and apart from that on the basis of impact and incidence of tax, okay, direct and indirect taxes. Now I am going to discuss the two important terms which is used generally we will see in tax system. The first is cess and the second is surcharge. Okay, surcharge. Okay, tax and surcharge. Okay, now both are considered, both are tax on tax. Both are what? Tax on tax. But there is a difference in both cess and surcharge. Okay, surcharge is basically, it is a charge on tax. Okay, it is a kind of charge. Surcharge is what? It is a kind of charge on tax. Okay, and both are very important. Look, what is cess? Cess is what? You heard about education tax cess or Krishna Kant cess. It is a tax on tax which is used for a specific purpose. For example, if central government or state government is imposing tax on tax as a cess, the collected money is used for the specific purpose it has been collected. Okay, suppose if government has introduced, there was education tax cess, education tax cess. So this education cess, whatever money will collected under this, it will be used for specific purpose that is called education. Krishna Kant cess, Krishna Kant cess, it was introduced by, this cess was introduced by central government. Okay, and whatever money was collected on that, okay, collected by this Krishna Kant cess, that was, entire money was used for Krishna Kant. Okay, so first is cess. Now look here, what is the meaning of cess? Suppose first of all it is tax on tax. Tax on tax. Suppose your taxable income is 7 lakh rupees. 7 lakh rupees. Okay, and your income tax is 5%. Income tax. Okay, income tax is 5%. So what is your tax liability? How much you have to pay? 35,000. 35,000 you have to pay as a tax. Okay, now suppose government has imposed 4% education cess. So on tax, how much you have to pay? Tax on tax. This is your tax liability, and on this you have to pay 4%. So what will be the 35% of 400? 4% of 35,000, it will be 1400 na 1400. Okay, so you have to add this 1400 in this. So what you have to pay? 36,400. So this is called cess. Okay, tax on tax. Tax on tax, or you can say that 5% is your tax plus 4% of 5%. means 4%, 5% of 4. So this is what tax on tax. You have your taxable income is 7 lakh. You are paying 35,000 as a tax. On this tax, the government has imposed 4% cess. So this is the tax you have to pay. So this is called cess, and cess is whatever money. There is a specific purpose for this cess. A specific purpose, and that is used for a specific purpose only. Collected money. I hope it is clear. It can be imposed by both central government as well as state government. But if central government is imposing this cess, it is not the part of division pool of tax. Means from money whatever we collect from tax, it is divisible, it is shared. This collected tax is shared between among the states, but the money which is collected by us is not a part of, will not be shared with, and it is used for specific purpose. Okay, this is imposed on both direct and indirect tax, because it is tax on tax now. So whenever you pay taxes, whether that tax is direct or indirect, you have to pay what? Cess. I hope it is clear. So, yes, to get more money for a specific purpose. No, there is no limit of that. Suppose it is tax on tax. Tax means what? Direct and indirect tax. It is paid by both the direct taxpayer as well as indirect taxpayer. Suppose a person is buying goods from market and government has imposed 4% education cess. So in that case, what you have to do? You have to pay the tax. So cess is what? Tax on tax. Okay, it is used for a specific purpose and for a specific period. After the completion of task, after the completion of purpose, it is abolished. And the second is, if central government is imposing cess, it will be not shared with whatever money collected, will not shared with. Any doubt? So write down. First is cess. It is a form of tax. It is a form of tax levied or collected by the government. By the government. Okay, by the government in bracket. Central government as well as state government. Means both government has right to impose cess. Government for the development or welfare of a particular service or sector. Okay. Second point. It is charged over and above. It is charged over and above direct and indirect taxes. Charge over direct and indirect taxes. Third point, cess collected for a particular purpose cannot be used for or diverted to other purposes, to other purposes. Okay. Next point. It is not a permanent source of revenue. It is not a permanent source of revenue for the government. Okay. And it is discontinued. It is discontinued when the purpose is fulfilled. Is fulfilled. Okay. And next point, the cess imposed by central government and the money collected from by the central government and money collected from and the tax collected from this cess is not a part of divisible pool. Not a part of divisible pool, and money collected from the and the tax collected from the cess is not a part of divisible pool. Means what? Divisible pool, POOL. What is the meaning of this? We all know the tax collected by the government is whatever money collected from tax is distributed among the states, but the money which is collected from cess is not a part of divisible pool. Okay, it is not a part of. So tax which is imposed by the government and whatever money we collected from tax is shared, or it is distributed among the states, but the money which is collected from cess is not part of divisible pool. Okay. Now just I am giving example here. Suppose your taxable income is what? Taxable income is 7 lakh rupees. 7 lakh. Okay. And your tax is what? Tax liability is, your income tax is what? 5%. So how much you have to pay? 3,50,000. Okay, 100. Yes, okay, 35,000. Na? This is your tax liability. Okay, and now the government has imposed cess of 4%. So you have to pay 35,000 plus 35,000 multiplied by 4 upon 100. Okay, 0. Okay, so 35, 0, 0, 0, 36,400. Okay, I hope it is clear to all of you. And it is paid by both. It is paid by the indirect. It is direct tax as well as it is imposed on both. It is imposed on goods and services, as well as if a person is under the income tax liability, he has to pay also. Okay, na? I hope it is clear to all of you. So what is the meaning of cess? Now second is what? Surcharge. Second is surcharge. Okay. Now surcharge is also, yes, means what I have said, it is charged over, means cess is charged over and upon, charged over and above direct tax as well as indirect tax. So those person who is under indirect tax liability, means who is paying in income tax, he has to pay cess. And apart from that, if a person is buying any object, and availing any services, he has to pay what? The cess. So it is not only imposed on income, but it is also imposed on goods and services. I hope it is clear. Now, second is what? Surcharge. Surcharge is basically what? It is a kind of charge. Kind of charge. It is a kind of, क्या है? It is a kind of charge. और charge किस पर? It is a kind of charge on what? And generally, surcharge is a tax on tax, and it is imposed by government only on higher income group. Suppose any person who is earning more than 50 lakh a year, so government will impose surcharge only on the person who is earning more beyond 50 lakh. So it is, surcharge is basically, it is paid by those whose income is exceeding a particular limit. So it is imposed on it direct tax. No. कैसे लग सकता है? It can't be. Yes, it can be. Suppose you are purchasing any good, your income is above 50 lakh. Now government has said those who are earning more than 50 lakh income, they had to pay not only taxes but also surcharge. Okay. Now, cess on income, but whenever you start purchasing any good, you have to pay cess also. Suppose your income is 50 lakh. 50 lakh. And government has said beyond 50, those who are earning 50 lakh, they have to pay what? Surcharge. Now, 50 lakh your income. So what is your tax liability? Tax liability is, but how much tax you have to pay? 15 lakh tax. 5% के हिसाब से कितना हो जाएगा? 5% means 15 lakh. Okay. Okay. Suppose this is what? 1,50,000. Sorry, कितना होगा इसका? 1,50,000 ना? Income tax is how much? 1,50,000. This you has to pay as an income. Okay. On that you have to pay extra 15% what? Surcharge. So what will be your surcharge? Suppose 10% is surcharge. Okay. So how much? 1,500. Okay. So 1,500. एक और जीरो आ जाएगा ना? ओके. 1,500 plus 15,000. Okay. 1,65,000, and on that you have to pay 4% as a. So this will be your what? Total tax you have to pay. But this is imposed only on those person whose income is more than a certain limit. Suppose a person is earning how much? 50 lakh. He has to pay income tax. And says, yes, surcharge is basically imposed to bring equality in society. He is earning more, so he has to pay something extra. Yes, first is what? He is paying his tax liability, whatever tax. Cess is imposed on everyone. Okay, so 15% surcharge and plus what? 4%. Yes, and surcharge is basically, it is a kind of charge on tax. Okay, and it is imposed to bring equality in society. It is paid only by those whose income is more than certain, and the money which is collected from this surcharge is also not a part of divisible pool. Okay, and government can use this money for any purpose, but for cess there was a special point. The money which is collected from cess was used for specific purpose, and after the completion of task, the government can abolish the cess. But surcharge is basically it continued. Cess is imposed both on indirect or indirect taxes, but surcharge is only imposed on direct tax. And the money which is collected from surcharge, okay, are used for any purpose. And the money which is collected from surcharge goes to where? Consolidated Fund of India. Consolidated Fund of India. Okay, and we all know without any bill it is difficult to withdraw money from. I hope it is clear. So cess and surcharge both are the ways through which government can increase their collection. Both cess and surcharge both are imposed by central government as well as state government, but the money collected from cess is used for the particular purpose for which the cess is imposed, and surcharge, there is no specific purpose for what? Surcharge. I hope it is clear to all of you. What is the meaning of cess? What is the meaning of surcharge? Okay, so write down. Now, surcharge, it is an additional charge. Surcharge, it is an additional charge or tax levied on existing tax. Okay. Next point. Unlike a cess, comma, which is meant to raise revenue, meant, M-E-N-T, meant to raise revenue for a temporary need, comma, surcharge is usually permanent in nature. Okay. First point is what? It is an additional charge or tax levied on an existing tax. Second point, unlike a cess which is meant to raise revenue which is meant to raise revenue for a temporary need, comma, surcharge is usually permanent in nature. Yes. Now it is an income tax, na? So it is imposed by cess can imposed by both central government as well as the state government. Okay. Yes. Now UP has imposed cess. Okay. But the money collected from cess will spend for the purpose it is meant for or collected or it is imposed. But for surcharge, there is no any specific purpose in which field will be. Okay. Now, what I have said one thing is cess is imposed on both direct and taxes, but surcharge is basically when a person income exceed then the some certain limit which is fixed by the government. So government impose surcharge on those person whose income is exceeding from a certain limit. And the purpose of surcharge is to bring equality in society. You are earning more, so you have to give more. No, it is depend upon ki kitna lagta hai. It is paid by, no, this is example. This is example. It is imposed on both individual as well as company, corporate sector. Surcharge is imposed both on, okay, and this is cess indirect as well as, because it is tax on tax. So those person who are paying tax, either indirect or direct, he has to pay. But surcharge is also tax on tax, but it is basically, it is a kind of charge on tax. It is a charge on tax and it is imposed on those person or companies whose earning, whose income is beyond certain limit. Beyond certain, any doubt? And one thing I have said, the money collected, the tax collected from surcharge is goes to their consolidated fund of India. But the money which is collected from cess goes to the particular department. For example, education cess, it will go to education department for education. And once the purpose is fulfilled, it is scrapped by the. Any doubt? Yes. But cess, suppose you are purchasing any good, you have to pay cess. If government has imposed cess, you have to give. Everyone is paying cess. If government has introduced, you have to pay because it is imposed on both income as the indirect tax as well as direct tax. Why railway will pay? If you will buy ticket, you have to pay cess also. Whenever you start giving tax, you have to pay if government has imposed. But surcharge is paid by those whose earning is beyond certain limit. So it is surcharge is basically charged, imposed by government on those people or corporate whose income is beyond or more than certain limit which is fixed by government. Now government has said those who are earning more than 50 lakh per annum, he has to pay surcharge. Then you have to pay. If a person is earning less than 50 lakh, he will pay income tax, but not surcharge. And the basic difference between cess and surcharge is surcharge, the money collected from surcharge, the taxes collected from surcharge can be used for any purpose. But if education cess is imposed by government, it will be used only for education. Swachh Bharat cess, so it will use only for the money collected, it will only use for Swachh Bharat. Krishi Kalyan cess, it will be used for Krishi Kalyan only. And cess is only for a specific period. But surcharge is, there is no. Any doubt? Yes. कौन सा? दो सेस तो नहीं हो सकता. कुछ भी हो सकता है. Any doubt? Write down. Surcharge. Clear? Now take an example of surcharge. Surcharge is imposed only on indirect taxes. First point is very important. Okay? Imposed only on indirect taxes. Direct taxes, not indirect. Surcharge only on direct tax. Okay? Now, just take an example. Suppose income is how much? 50 lakh, and government has said कि beyond 50 lakh, those who are earning beyond 50 lakh, whether it is a company or individual, he has to pay. Okay. Now, suppose 50 lakh is what? 50 lakh is your taxable income. So your income, you are falling in 5% of income tax. So what will be your tax? Okay, कितना हो जाएगा? 2,50,000 your tax liability. Okay, on that 2,50,000, how much you have to pay? Suppose surcharge is 10%. So how much? 10% surcharge is 25,000. Now what is your total? This is 2,50,000 plus 25,000, 2,75,000, and on that you have to pay what? Because it is tax on tax. So how much you have to pay? Suppose cess is 5% or 4%, you have to pay. Yes, 25,000. 25, no, 2,75,000 का 4%. इसका? No. This is what? 25,000. Cess is different. First, in surcharge, first of all, look, your income is 50 lakh. Okay, what is your tax liability? This is the income you have to pay on. You have to pay tax. What is your tax limit? Is 5%. Suppose. So how much you have to pay tax? 2,50,000. Okay. Now on this 2,50,000, you have to charge on tax. What is your tax? 2,50,000. This on this you have to pay charge. Now, what is the charge you have to pay? Surcharge is how much? Suppose surcharge is 10%. then what will be 25,000? 25,000. So this is what you have to pay as a tax. How much? 2,25,000. This is tax. Now on this tax you have to pay tax on tax, which is known as cess. What is cess? Is 4% suppose, या 5% या 10% जो भी है. Okay. Now 4% of tax. This is the tax you have to pay. Okay. So 4% of this or 5% of this, and then this plus 4% of. Any doubt? Charge on tax is what? Surcharge. What is your tax? How much you have to pay? 2,50,000. On that you have to pay charge. That is called surcharge. So surcharge plus this tax, this is called your tax liability. Now tax on tax is called cess. So on that you have to pay cess also. So this is called what? Surcharge. This is total. Total कितना है? Suppose इसका 5% है, तो 13,750. Now this much you have to pay. इतना आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा? You have to pay 2,88,750 total. Okay, any doubt? Now just make a, this is, here is, now write down here, this is tax, here is surcharge, and here is cess. Now write down first, what is the purpose of tax? Tax is imposed by both. It is imposed by central government as well as state government. Surcharge, both. Cess, yes, surcharge, but generally Constitution has provided right to impose. Surcharge can imposed by both central government as well as state government. But in India, income tax is imposed by, so it is generally central government. But constitutional right क्या है? Both has a right to impose. Okay? कोई जरूरत नहीं, हो सकता कि नहीं लगाए, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट नहीं लगाए, but state government can impose. Yes, the people will pay. Now, what is the purpose of tax? What is the purpose of tax? Purpose of tax is development. The purpose of tax is, what is the purpose of surcharge? To make taxation more progressive, system more progressive. To make taxation system more progressive. System more progressive. Okay. And what is the purpose of cess? For a specific purpose. For specific purpose. Okay. Now look here. Tax, no predetermined use. No predetermined use. No predetermined. No predetermined use. Means if government is collecting taxes, it can use this collected tax for any purpose. No predetermined use. Predetermined use. Yes. In surcharge, there is no predetermined use of collected money. No predetermined use. No predetermined use. Getting my points? Yes. In tax and surcharge, there is no predetermined use. But for cess, there is a predetermined use. If government is imposing education cess predetermined, so it is used for determined purpose. So here is what? Determined. It's predetermined use. Predetermined. Okay. Tax collected by both central government and state government. Tax collected by both central government and state government. हाँ वही collected हो गया, ठीक है. Surcharge collected by central government and cess is also collected by both. दोनों collect कर सकता है. Cess, if imposed by central government, it will be collected by central government. Imposed by state government, it can be collected by in that case. Now, okay. Now, next is distribution. The collected money from tax is distributed between center and states on the recommendation of Finance Commission. Okay, write down the tax collected from will be distributed between central and state government on as per Finance Commission rules or recommendation. Finance Commission recommendation. Okay. Surcharge, no distribution. Means the collected money will go to central government only, and the money which is collected from surcharge will not be the part of divisible division pool. It will not. The money collected from or the tax collected from surcharge will not be distributed among the states. And cess, if sent, now it will also not the part of distribution pool. Will not. Yes, means the money collected from cess will not distributed among the states. नहीं बांटा जाए. Tax, the money collected from tax will be distributed between central and states and on the recommendation of Finance Commission. The money collected from surcharge will not be the part of distribution pool. Okay, and also it is not a cess collected from by central government is not a part of divisible. Any doubt? Now, the next is the money collected from tax goes to Consolidated Fund of India. consolidated fund of India, collected from tax, flow into consolidated fund of India. Okay. Now, surcharge, money collected as surcharge, flow into consolidated fund of India. Okay, but the money collected from cess, okay, flow into special fund, special fund. So I hope it is clear. So what is the difference between tax and surcharge and cess? A special fund. For example, if education cess will go to the education department, it will be managed by that department only. I hope it is clear to all of you. So these are the three differences. These are the three: tax, cess, and surcharge. It is tax on tax. Cess is tax on tax. It is charge on tax. Charge on tax. And both are considered as tax on tax. But cess is imposed on both direct and indirect taxes. But surcharge is only imposed on direct tax. The purpose of surcharge is to bring down or to make taxation system more progressive. And in progressive में क्या होता है? In progressive taxation system, with increase in income, tax rate increases. I hope it is clear to all of you. Okay. Now it is coming. अभी आ रहा है ना? You will get slabs. Now. हाँ, अभी देखना अभी कितने आता है फिर. Okay. Now. Next is specific and ad valorem tax. Specific, yes. Specific and ad valorem. Ad VAL VAL VALOREM. Okay. हाँ, कौन सा कैसे डिग्रेसिव है? प्रोग्रेसिव है ना? Progressive, and after that proportional. Yes. In India, the first is with increase in income, tax increases, and after a certain limit क्या हो जाता है? It is proportional. हाँ. Of course, but उसके बाद क्या है कि 50 lakh and after 1 crore or 10 crore, everyone, those who are earning more than 10 crore, they have to pay the taxes at the same rate. थोड़ा सा है, कभी ऐसा नहीं है, ठीक है ना? But in India, generally we follow this is what progressive taxation with increase in income, tax increases, and after certain limit, it is proportional. Okay. For example, 50 lakh, you have to give surcharge, and after 10 crore or 5 crore जो भी है, then the charge will be same. हाँ. After 50 lakh, suppose 10%, and more than 10 crore or more than 1 crore, okay, more than 1 crore, whether that is 1 crore or 10 crore or 100 crore, 15%. Just like that. Now, text is specific and ad valorem text. Specific text is a text which is imposed on specific feature of product. For example, length. Cigarette. On cigarette, text is imposed on the basis of length. On car, how much the car is, but covering the area. So on the basis of that, text is imposed, and that is called specific text. And ad valorem text is the text which is based on the value of goods. Value of goods. This is specific, means on the basis of size, length, width, etc. And ad valorem text is the text which is imposed on the basis of the value of the text. Okay, write down. Specific text is imposed on the basis of any specific features, of a commodity of a commodity like its length, width, and weight or quantity. Weight or quantity. Length, width, weight or quantity. Okay, that is called a specific text. Example, text on cigarette. Okay, on the basis of length. Cigarette. Okay, surcharge text percent hota hai. Okay, it's right. Raj Aditya, you are right. But I am just giving example here. State Aditya Raj. Who is Aditya Raj? Okay. Now, next is what? Ad valorem text. What is the meaning of that? Write down. It is imposed on the basis of total value or price of a commodity. Value or price of a commodity. Okay, suppose you are purchasing 4 plates dishes at the cost of this is 3,000, so you have to pay taxes on this 3,000 on the purchase of 4 dishes. So this is called ad valorem tax. Okay? Okay. Now next. The next is personal income tax. Personal income tax. Okay. Now, the personal income tax is paid by those person whose income is beyond certain limit. Okay, and there is a Indirect Tax Act 1961. This is governed by Direct Tax, Income Tax 1961. Income Tax 1961. Okay, Income Tax Act 1961. Okay, Income Tax Act 1961. So personal income tax is what? Those whose income is beyond certain limit, which is fixed by the government. Okay, and it is personal income tax is imposed by a act called Income Tax Act 1961. Personal income tax is paid by those whose income is beyond certain limit, which is fixed by government. Which is fixed by government every year in budget. Every year in budget. So personal income tax is the tax which is paid by those whose income is beyond certain limit, and the limit is fixed by government every year in budget. Every year in budget. And presently personal income tax is governed by Income Tax Act 1961. Income tax is governed by Income Tax 1961. Okay. Now, next is minimum alternate tax. Minimum alternate tax. Minimum now write one thing in personal income tax. Personal income tax. Personal income tax is imposed on. Now write in 2 or 3 points in personal income. Personal income tax is imposed on, number 1, income, means salary. Second, salary. First is what? Salary. Second is income from house or assets. Okay, income from any business. Okay, income from any business, and profit earned. And profit earned. And profit earned on any economic activity. On any activities, economic activity. Now, next is minimum alternate tax. Minimum alternate tax. Look here. It was introduced in 1996, first time. Okay. Now, minimum alternate tax is a tax imposed on those firms or companies, those firms or companies whose income is more than certain book profit. whose income क्या है? Is more than, this minimum return tax is imposed on the firm or companies whose income is more than book profit. Book profit. Book profit. Okay. Book profit means the profit which is mentioned in book. Okay. So the tax which is imposed on book profit, okay, that is called minimum alternate tax. Book profit of a company. Okay. So whatever after that because company has to give dividends to the shareholders. After that, whatever money, whatever profit company is showing in his book, account book, on that a tax is being called. Book profit means what? Suppose account book is there, every company kept its account, okay, and in account book after deducting all the liabilities in the sense the company has to pay but their dividends to the people, those who purchase the share of the company. So after deducting that, so whatever profit company is earning, that is called book, and on that profit tax is called minimum alternate tax. Now look here, the company has to pay corporate tax or minimum alternate, okay, which is higher. Okay, what is minimum alternate tax? It is a tax on book profit of a company. Book profit of, if book profit is certain more than if book profit is what, certain percent more, on that the company has to give alternate. Look here, write one. Company have to pay have to pay corporate tax, corporate income tax. Corporate income is the income tax of corporation, company. Corporate tax or minimum alternate tax. Whichever is higher. There is higher, not the both. Now, suppose company's income is, book profit is 10 lakh rupees. Okay? Okay? 10 lakh. Now, suppose this company, out of this 10 lakh has invested 9 lakh rupees, the area where it has got some benefits from the, okay. Now government has said is just invest this amount of money in that area, but for that area, that company will get some tax rebate. Suppose the book profit of a company is 10 lakh rupees. Now on this 10 lakh rupees, okay, the tax which is paid on this is called minimum alternate tax. Minimum alternate tax. Okay. Now the firm has to pay either minimum alternate tax or corporate income tax, not both. Okay, but whichever is higher. Now look here. Suppose book profit of company is 10 lakh rupees and 9 lakh rupees company has invested certain area and the company has got tax rebate on that. Government has said, okay, this is what Khand reason, invest money in this area, there will be exemption from taxes. Now this company has invested 9 lakh rupees. So how much left? 1 lakh. Now either company has to pay minimum alternate tax. What is the actual book profit? Now look here. Corporate income tax will be how much? This is the profit na? This is the profit. 10 lakh pe dena padega. And what is the MAT? This is the book profit. Finally, company is getting. पर क्या होगा? MAT देगा. And which is higher? Not getting. Now here what? No. In both, not company has not to give both. Whichever higher. So it is क्या होगा? It is beneficial for the company to invest that particular area. Earn more. Suppose company is earning 10 lakh rupees. Okay? And 9 lakh rupees company has invested in a certain area. And the company has invested because the government has given rebate. That if now there is a provision of government, now invest in this area, will get certain type of exemption. So how much left? 1 lakh rupees. Now अब इसको क्या कहते हैं? This is the taxable income. Now 10 lakh rupees is the profit shown by the company. Now if company has to pay either that corporation income tax, profit हो गया ना. अब wait. This is the profit. This is the profit of a company. So either pay corporate income tax on this. Now suppose corporate income tax is how much? 30%. How much the pay? Look, sorry, 10 lakh book profit है ना? Sorry, this is 10 lakh rupees is what? Book profit is 10 lakh rupees. Suppose this on this 10 lakh rupees, the company has invested 9 lakh rupees. Here, the area which is mentioned by the government. Yes, invest in this area, you will get this of tax. Okay. So how much left? 1 lakh. This is the actual taxable income हो गया. अब इस पर क्या करेगा? या तो इस पर क्या देगा? बुक प्रॉफिट तो 10 लाख है ना. So on book profit, company has to pay MAT, and on the taxable income has to pay corporate. अब देखिए कॉर्पोरेट इनकम टैक्स कितना है अभी मान लिया 30%, एंड दैट मैट कितना है 18.5%. 15.5%. Now 1 lakh 30% कितना 1000 और इसका कितना हो गया कितना है 10 लाख का 18.5% कितना है 18,500 okay 18,000 so which is profitable for the country company MAT or CIT your company is getting MAT में कितना दे रहा है वो 18,500 okay in MAT company is giving 18,500 in CIT company is giving 30,000 so which is beneficial not getting suppose book profit of a company is how much book profit of a company is 10 lakh rupees 10 lakh now on this company has to pay minimum alternate tax okay now the company has to pay corporate income tax but not both and company has to pay either MAT or IT but whichever is higher now this is the book profit of a company now suppose government has said invest this amount of money in particular area okay and those company will invest in that area they will get some but tax rebates now this company has invested 9 lakh rupees a certain so on this the company will get tax rebate so how much left 1 lakh is left and this is the taxable now on this 1 lakh rupees on this 1 lakh rupees okay what corporate income okay on this 10 lakh but no alternate on this 10 lakh no alternate tax is how much 18.5% so how much 18,500 on this 1 lakh 1 lakh 85,000 1 lakh 5,000 okay and second क्या है CIT okay CIT में कितना आएगा आपको 30% ऑफ हाउ मच 1 लाख ना 30% 30,000 तो इधर पे दिस और पे कौन फायदेमंद CIT paying more फायदेमंद because 30,000 and you are investing other areas or more company has to pay both company has to pay either MAT or any doubt no this is what suppose I am just giving example here what is book profit what is the book profit what is the book profit company has to show okay and there is a provision of government either pay MAT on book profit or invest certain amount in this area you will get this type of rebates which in book profit, in book profit amount is always क्या होगा, हाई होगा ना. That means what, you are not investing. Government क्या कहा, just go and invest there. This is the backward area, invest in that area, open your unit in that area. So what government will get, what benefit the society will get, industrialization हो. नो फायदा नहीं. अब यहाँ क्या हो, कंपनी एक नया कंपनी लगाएगी ना, गवर्नमेंट इज गिविंग लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स टू दिस. नहीं नहीं नहीं, या तो कंपनी नहीं लगाया ना, अगर उसने मैट देगा तो सीआईटी नहीं देना पड़ेगा. सर ये क्या है, इफ गवर्नमेंट, इफ यू आर इन्वेस्टिंग मनी दैट एरिया, आपको क्या मिलेगा, बहुत सारा प्रॉफिट जनरेट. यू विल गेट लॉट ऑफ कंसेशन फ्रॉम गवर्नमेंट, एंड व्हाइल setting up sector industries in particular area, that area will what, grow, will develop. नहीं समझ में आएगा. हाँ, हाँ, higher. On the basis of the amount. कौन सा, सीआईटी ना. लेकिन अब इसमें दोनों में से दोनों वहाँ वहाँ लो होगा फिर, विच एवर इज लो, नॉट हाई, विच एवर इज लो. हाँ लो होगा, फिर जो पे टैक्स लो होगा वही वही देना पड़ेगा. यस. हाँ, फाइनल अमाउंट. नो, तो जो भी अमाउंट लो होगा. नेक्स्ट इज wealth gain tax. Wealth gain tax. Wealth gain tax. Wealth gain. Now, wealth gain tax means what? Suppose you have purchased any building or share or any that suppose you have purchased any building, okay, and you are selling this building more than the amount you have purchased. So on that you have to pay taxes, that is called wealth gain, either on share, okay, or debenture or any securities you are purchasing, okay. And if the cost of purchase is less than the cost at which you are selling, on that you have to pay what, tax called wealth gain. हाँ? बॉन्ड्स में, उसमें तो आपको बॉन्ड्स में भी देना पड़ेगा. Write down what is wealth gain tax. It is a gain on the wealth, is gain on the wealth which is sold on, is gain on the wealth which is sold on the higher price than the price at which it has bought. Price it then which is sold on the price which sold on higher price than the price at which has bought. खरीदा गया. Next is dividend distribution tax. Dividend distribution tax. Dividend distribution. Okay. Now look here. Dividend is what? It is the profit shared by companies. Okay. So it is the income of shareholders, but it is not a part of income. 1961 Income Tax Act, the dividend which is earned by the shareholder is not a part of income tax. So it is paid by the company. Their shareholder. So shareholder is earning now in income tax 1961. Which type of income? On which type of income tax is? We have already written income from your salaries, है ना? सैलरी से हुआ है या फिर एनी वेल्थ से लिया है या फिर एनी बिजनेस से लिया है और एनी प्रॉफिट यू हैव दैट earned. Okay, profit you have earned. Now write down. Generally dividend is given to the shareholders by the company. Is technically the income of shareholders. Okay, but according to Income Tax Act 1961, the dividend earned by a person does not come under income tax. Hence, company has to pay dividend distribution tax. To government. और किसको? and after the announcement of dividend distribution the tax has to paid in 14 days. Tax has to pay 14 days. Okay, so in 14 days after the announcement of dividend, because dividend is paid by company on its shareholders, so technically it is the income of shareholders, but the income from shares is not a part of what? Income tax under Income Tax Act 1960. That's why the company has to pay dividend tax to the government, and once it is declared, company is going to distribute dividend, so within 40 days after the announcement क्या होनी चाहिए? Tax has to be deposited in called dividend. Yeah? Now, so these all are the parts of the part है direct taxes. Now indirect taxes. हाँ हाँ है उसके अभी तो अनाउंसमेंट करेगा तो अपने पॉकेट से देगा नहीं ना वो. After deducting, firstly it has to announce we are going to give such amount as a dividend to shareholders. Now within 14 days the company has to pay taxes to the government treasury. So where the company will deduct the tax from the distribution. Yeah? Now next is what? Indirect taxes. Direct tax. Direct tax. So look here. First, what we have discussed: cess, surcharge, and tax. What is the meaning of cess? It is a tax on tax imposed by whom? Central and state government. But the money which is collected from cess is used for specific purpose, and once the purpose is fulfilled, it is scrapped. Okay. Now the amount which is collected from cess is not a part of what? Divisible pool, and apart from that it flows into separate account, not to the Constitutional Fund of India. What is surcharge? What is the purpose of this? Developmental purpose. कोई specific developmental purpose. What is surcharge? It is charge on tax. Now cess is imposed on both direct and indirect taxes. So everyone is, if government is imposing cess, everyone has to pay. Now what is the meaning of surcharge? Charge on tax, and it is paid by higher income group, and only those who are paying direct taxes, either income tax or corporate tax. So company as well as individual, and only those individuals are paying whose income is more than a certain limit. That is called surcharge. And the money which is collected from surcharge goes into Constitutional Fund of India. Okay. Now another thing is important. Surcharge. Unlike cess, surcharge continues. The purpose of surcharge is to inequality को क्या करना? To abolish inequality, inequality. Progressiveness, to achieve the what? To make taxation system more progressive. Tax is what? Compulsory payment imposed by both central government as well as state government, and there is no specific purpose. Now, the money collected from surcharge is also not used for a specific. It can be used for any purpose. Just like surcharge, tax, the money collected from tax is also, there is no pre, okay, there is no predetermined purpose where we will use this. Okay, the tax collected from money collected from tax goes into Consulate Fund of India, and to bring and to withdraw money from that we use that is the appropriation bill we have to introduce to draw money from. ये पढ़ा था, and after that what we have discussed, specific tax and ad valorem tax. Specific tax is the tax which is imposed on the length, width, weight or quantity of a particular object. Okay, for example, if car tax on car, it is basically how much area a car is covering on road. On the basis of that, tax is imposed. Because Mercedes is there, so the length of Mercedes is more, so the Mercedes buyer has to pay more taxes than the Maruti. Okay. Now, similarly, the tax on cigarette, it is based on the length of. Ad valorem tax is the value of goods, the value of कर दिया जाता, ठीक है. Now, income tax is paid by those whose income is beyond the certain limit which is by the government, and there is a Income Tax Act 1961. According to that, then corporate income tax, it is the income tax paid by corporate houses, all corporate. Then MAT, minimum alternate tax, it is the tax which is imposed on the book profit of a company, firm. Okay? And after that, there is a wealth gain tax. Wealth gain tax is when the price of property is more than when during the time of buying and selling, if the value of that any commodity or any assets क्या होता है, if that increases and the increase is beyond its the purchasing the price, on that they have to pay taxes. That is called wealth gain tax. And then what was the last tax? Dividend distribution tax. This is the tax which is, dividend is basically distributed by the companies to their shareholders. So when the company distributes its dividend to the shareholders, it is a part of income of shareholders. But according to the 1961 Income Tax Act, the income which is received by a person on dividend will be not the part of income tax. That's why this dividend tax is first, it is given by companies before distributing. But after announcing, yes, the company is going to distribute income dividend to their shareholders. So within 14 days of announcement of distribution of dividend, that company has to This is what we have discussed, and these all are what? Direct tax. 14 days, within 14 days, the company has to pay. Within 14 days, company has to pay. Now look here. I'm going to discuss about indirect taxes. Direct. Now look here. I'm just giving example. Indirect taxes are imposed of goods and services. Goods and services. Okay. I'm starting with example. Suppose this farmer, and farmer produce wheat of 50, 10% profit. So 60 rupees is, and on this 60 there will be no tax because farmer का है ना, कोई tax नहीं. Okay. Now this farmer is selling to flour mill. So and plus 10 rupees he used plus the that that wheat, and 20 rupees he added. So how much? 80 rupees. Now suppose 10% is the tax he has to pay. 10% tax he has to pay. How much tax he is paying? Tax तो tax कुछ नहीं. Okay. 80 rupees is the cost and 8 rupees he is paying taxes. Now this flour mill, tax means production. अभी हमने किसके बारे में पढ़ना है? Earlier what was the condition? How tax was paid to the people? How the goods were very costly. Okay. Then we have jumped to this system to VAT system. This was the condition before VAT. Now look here. Now this flour mill has sold this flour to whom? Biscuit manufacturer. Biscuit manufacturer. Now the biscuit manufacturer has purchased this rupees price for, okay, and 80 rupees plus what he did, 20 rupees he mixed the things, and 20 rupees profit. How much? 120 rupees. 10% tax is how much? 12 rupees. Okay. Now this 120 rupees biscuit is sold to the packers, those who are packaging the, okay, making packets. If 120 rupees, now 120 plus 20 rupees plus 10 rupees, 20 rupees is spent and 10 rupees. Okay. So how much he has to pay? uh, 115 rupees. Okay, now finally कंज्यूमर के पास आता है, रिटेलर्स के पास यहाँ से दिस इज 150 rupees परचेज and 150 plus rupees 10, how much? Now here what, when he purchased this 60 rupees and this 60 rupees is included in this, the tax he, this biscuit manufacturer has purchased store, how much? But here on this 80 rupees he has already paid, पे कर चुका है, just paid the taxes. Now again फिर यहाँ आता है, इसने क्या क्या फिर मिलाया, paid the taxes. Now in 120 he has purchased, क्या इसमें, and in that 120 क्या हुआ, already taxes paid on that. This is called tax on, and people were saying that. Now how much people has to pay taxes, कितना देना पड़ता है, 51 rupees. So government earning was more, government earning was very high. Now take the condition of, so here the tax collection was very high and the burden was going to the consumer, is the final payer, final going to consume the goods, so he has to pay. So now we introduced VAT system. Okay, VAT system में क्या है, the tax rate is suppose same, tax rate is same. Now how much value added here, 20 rupees value added, so tax will be on only 20 rupees. How much tax he has to pay, value added is 20 rupees, tax will be 2 rupees. Here value addition is, here 40 rupees, value addition is how much, tax is 4, here is 30, so how much the tax, 3, and here is what, 10. So what is the total taxes, 10 rupees. Now look here, in value addition method, when we collect taxes, tax is low, but here the tax is an ultimate burden. Now here, because of tax, because only of tax is happening, the would become more, good is becoming more expensive, good is very expensive. But what in the case of, what is in the case of, what was it, but in this case when we introduce the VAT system, goods become, this was the condition before the introduction of VAT, and this so इसको detail, and after this what happened, this VAT is further changed, but before there was a tax on tax and ultimate burden was on people, because at every stage they have to pay. बट वैट में क्या हो गया, द टैक्स reduced and the goods become more